When it comes to outdoor lighting, there's no better way to create an inviting atmosphere than with Patio string lights. As some of our most popular products, we want to showcase the amazing PLT stringers we offer at 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏, as well as compare ours to ones you could find from other brands. For this comparison, we purchased strings from Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. We compared the wire, the sockets, the bulbs, the plugs, as well as customer reviews. Before we jump into the competitor strings, let's first take a look at our PLT strings. Our PLT stringers are made with 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍 wire. This is a durable, thermoplastic, weather-resistant wire that is rated for 300 volts, and it is designed to be permanently used outdoors. We also have PVC sockets. You can choose between a medium or a candelabra base, and the sockets can be inline like this one, or suspended where the bulb hangs below the wire. These are also molded directly to the wire, so you won't have to worry about water entering. Our sockets also have a thick rubber gasketing. This tightens down around the bulb as you screw it in, ensuring that water is not going to enter into the socket and short it out. The bulbs for our strings are sold separately. This allows you to choose the type, the shape, and the output options you want. This level of customization is what truly sets our strings apart from the competition. If you want to use an incandescent Edison bulb, go for it. LED, it's no problem. You can use whatever you like as long as the bulb fits in the socket and it doesn't exceed the string's maximum wattage. Most of our PLT stringers come with outdoor rated male and female plugs. These plugs are molded directly to the wire, ensuring that water cannot get into them. And when we look at the reviews for these strings, customers love them. They praise the ability to customize the strings with bulbs, how well they withstand being used outside, and the overall quality of the wire and the sockets. You can use our stringers for a wide range of applications, including backyards, gazebos, patios, RVs, and more. For a more detailed look at our PLT stringers, check out our product spotlight video. Now let's move on to the fun part, the comparisons. First up is the Better Homes and Garden string from Walmart. So right out of the box, the very first thing that we noticed was the wire. Now, when you look at this, it's very thin, and that is because it is lamp wire. So this is absolutely under no circumstances safe to use outside. The jacket is very thin. It's not waterproof or weather resistant at all, and especially if you have extreme summers or extreme winters, it's going to take no time at all for this jacket to get brittle and start cracking. The second thing we noticed was the sockets. When we first took these out of the box, we saw that one of them was split. Now, when you look at this, you'd think that looks like kind of a regular socket, but it's not. This part here is actually a shell that is covering a standard C7 socket. Again, this is something that you normally see on Christmas stringers, and it accepts a candelabra-based bulb. This string comes with LED Edison-shaped bulbs with a candelabra base. If you hold this up to a standard Edison bulb, this is probably less than half the size. So because this is such an unusual size, you're never going to be able to find a replacement unless they offer a replacement with these, which they don't. The next thing we noticed was the male and female plugs. So when you look at these, you're going to see that this is a standard indoor rated plug. It has gaps around the prongs, around the wire in the back because it's not molded, and it even has a fuse compartment. With all these openings, the first time that this is out in the rain, water's going to get in there and short the entire string out. When I looked at the reviews for this string, the very first thing that I noticed was that almost all of the 4- and 5-star reviews had either an incentivized or a Walmart employee label. All of the 1-, 2-, and 3-star reviews were clearly from customers, and they complained about the longevity of the strings, how they shorted out the first time in the rain, and that there were no replacement bulbs. Next up is the Addlon String from Amazon. As you can see, it is a mess that we have yet to get untangled, even with the instruction card that was included. Taking a look at the wire for this string, this is a definite improvement over the previous one. This is SPT1 wire. This is what you will normally see used for seasonal Christmas lights. So that being said, this is only meant for temporary use outdoors. It even says here on the label, you don't want to use it any more than 90 days at a time. So if you're looking for permanent outdoor lighting, this is not what you would use. As we looked at the sockets, this appears on first glance that it is a medium-based socket. However, once you take the bulbs out, you can see that there is a small candelabra socket inside with threading along the outside of the socket. So this threading allows you to screw in this globe. Because of this design, this socket does not have any gasketing whatsoever. The socket is also not very molded to the wire. When you look at this, you can see gaps that water can get into and short the socket out. So the bulbs for this string consist of two parts. The wick, which is a little vintage LED tubular bulb with a candelabra base, and the shell, which is the globe that is shaped similarly to an S14 bulb. When they're screwed in, your final product will look like this. Now, due to this design, the socket doesn't have any gasketing. The only thing that keeps the water out of the socket is the shell or globe. So that has to be used in order to keep water out of the socket. And due to that, you can only use these little wicks in the sockets. You cannot use a different bulb because the shell will not fit over it. Now, you can find replacement wicks as a set of 4 that cost almost as much as buying a new string. They do not offer replacement shells at all. So again, like our previous string that we looked at, this stringer has indoor plugs with fuses. These have exceptionally large gaps in and around the prongs and at the back of the wire. They are not molded at all. I mean, you can hold this up to the light and see through it. So these are definitely not safe to use outdoors. So as we were looking at the reviews for this string, we saw a standard number of positive reviews. However, it was the negative reviews that were really telling. So a lot of customers were complaining that the strings were shorting out, they were having fuses blowing, and they were getting water in the bulbs. The next string is a 𝗙𝗵𝗽𝗀 string from Lowe's. Unlike the previous 2 strings, this one does have much better wire. This one's made using 𝗙𝗵𝗽𝗀 wire, so it is outdoor rated, safe to use. This has medium-based suspended sockets made out of PVC. They're pretty sturdy. The sockets do have gassing, however, it is very thin. So you're gonna risk this probably getting more brittle and wearing out sooner in extremely cold or extremely hot temperatures. These are also molded better to the wire. However, when you move this around, you do get some gaps. So unlike the previous 2 strings, the bulbs for this one were not pre-installed in the sockets. Instead, they were boxed separately and separated out by cell dividers. And even though they were packaged like this, they were still all scratched coming out of the box. So this is an LED S14 bulb. The only markings on here is for the wattage, which these are 0.8 watts each. So when you have some of these fail and you start looking for replacements, because there's no additional information, you're gonna have a very hard time finding bulbs that are gonna match the same output color and lumen output. So you're gonna probably have to replace all of the bulbs in the string in one go to be able to have them all look the same. Like with the previous strings, this one also uses indoor rated male and female plugs. Now, since these are not weather or water resistant, we do not recommend using them outside. As we were looking through the reviews, we found a growing number of negative reviews touching on a variety of issues. A lot of customers had fuses either missing entirely from the string, or fuses were blowing when they were connecting 2 or more strings together end to end. A lot of other customers complained that the bulbs were scratched right out of the box, or that they were giving off a very dull yellow light. There were also a lot of complaints about water getting into the bulbs. Now let's take a look at this Hampton-based stringer from Home Depot. This stringer also uses SJTW wire, so it is safe for outdoor use. It comes with suspended medium-based sockets. They're made out of PVC, and they also have what feels like a rubber coating on top of that. These do have gasketing, however, like the previous string, it's very thin, so this is gonna wear out in extreme temperatures. These are also molded pretty well to the wire, however, when you kind of flex the wire around, you do get some gaps. All of the bulbs for this string came pre-installed in the sockets, and they had this red protective film on them. However, as we were taking this off, we found that all of the bulbs were already scratched and scuffed underneath. They also came with 2 replacement bulbs that were packed in this little Ziploc bag. However, as you can see, they are gouged beyond the point of being usable. Nobody is going to want to put these in their string because of how they look, so these are completely useless. Now, you do have the option of using some other bulbs in this string. However, if you're looking for replacements for these, you're going to have a hard time matching the color temperature and the output, because the only thing that they give you is the wattage. So if you're going to be replacing these bulbs, you're going to have to do them all at the same time. Unlike all of the other competitor strings that we have looked at so far, this one actually has outdoor rated male and female plugs. These are safe for outdoor use. They're molded to the wire. The only thing on these that we've really noticed is that though they're molded, it's not a very tight seal. So when you flex the wire, you do get some gaps that water can get into. As we look through the reviews for this stringer, we found a lot of negative reviews. A lot of customers were having strings that did not work straight out of the box. There were complaints about water getting into the bulb within a few months of use. Some of the bulbs also were not making contact with the contact point in the socket, and there were some that the bulbs warped and melted in very hot temperatures. Our final competitor string is this Honeywell string from Walmart. At 12 feet, this was the shortest string we looked at. This stringer also uses 𝗀𝗍𝗍 wire, so again, it is safe for outdoor use. It comes with medium-base suspended sockets made out of PVC. This one does have slightly thicker gasketing than what we've seen from the last two stringers we looked at. However, it's still nowhere near as thick as the gasketing on the PLT stringers. These are also molded pretty well to the wire. However, there are some very slight gaps when you move the wire around. The balls for this string came pre-installed in the sockets, and when you look at them, the first thing you're going to notice is this really large sticker on the side. So this sticker has the part number for the replacement bulbs. Now, this string is designed to only work with these specific bulbs. You cannot use anything else in them. So when you go online to try to look this part number up, it does not exist. I checked on the Walmart website, I checked on Honeywell's website, and even Honeywell's parent company website. They do not exist. They didn't even come up doing a Google search. So once these bulbs start going out, you're going to have to replace the entire string. This string does use outdoor rated male and female plugs. These were probably the best plugs out of all the other competitor strings that we looked at. They are molded to the wire. The only thing that we noticed is that when you move the wire around, some slight gaps do kind of appear. So there is a very slight chance that water can get into them. Like with the other Walmart string that we looked at, most of the positive reviews were labeled as incentivized. There were also some that were pulled directly from the manufacturer's website. Most of the remaining reviews were negative. Customers were complaining that their bulbs were filling up with water within a few months of use, or that they couldn't find replacement bulbs at all. There were also complaints about the length of these strings. Because these are only 12 feet, customers complained that they had to purchase far more than they expected to be able to cover a yard. As you can see, our commercial grade PLT strings are the best on the market. For a more detailed breakdown of the competitor strings we looked at today, head over to our blog to read our Ultimate Patio Light String Showdown series. And when you're ready to make a purchase, visit 𝗀𝗍𝗍𝗿𝗀 to easily find the perfect patio stringers for your space, or for quick and easy personalized assistance, call a 𝗀𝗍𝗍𝗿𝗀 lighting expert at 855-948-5079.